Ladies and gentlemen, this is Mickey Clayton, the coach, here with the Claflin Athletics Show Season 3. And we have the on his way to becoming track and cross country coach, the legendary Malcolm Watts. Welcome to the show yet again, coach.
Thank you, thank you. Appreciate the title. Legendary.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All
It
right.
was last week when we had the athletic director on and we were talking about the upcoming lineup. He said, I got to get my cross country guy up first. He got everybody on campus excited about his recruiting. Coach, what did you do to have him laid back, suave, athletic director Tony Neal so excited?
Listen, I went out on the trail. I went out on the trail and, I brought some pieces in that can help the women program, that can help elevate the women program and have the men program continue the success we've been having.
What was your key to recruiting to be able to get some young ladies in there, coach?
Just getting in touch with some of our contacts, getting out there to some of the track meets in South Carolina. Getting out there talking to the head coaches. Showing my face, getting to know them so they can get to know me and they can understand the program I'm trying to build here, and we can be on the same page as far as what athletes fit into our program and what athletes they think they have that can come over here and make a difference.
Okay, coach, kind of go down. Give us some information about these recruits. I don't like to talk about them in a group. We need to know who we're looking forward to and where they're from and things like that, coach. We want to know about them on the show.
All right, let me see if I can go down the list. I have Morgan Springs. She is from Midland. She is the state champion, the 100-meter hurdles. She was number one in the state in the triple jump, and she's a state champion, the 400-meter hurdles. I have Faith Jones, who was the also state champion, the 400-meter hurdles as well. Um, I have Cheyenne. She is, excuse me, Faith is from Goose Creek, by the way. Cheyenne is from Somerville. She was part of the championship 4x1 for Somerville. And I have a transfer in from Massachusetts. She's coming from BU. So she's going to assist us in that 400-meter area, as well as she's a hurdler. And I have another young lady that's from Virginia that's going to help us with the sprints and hurdles and jumps as well.
Wow, coach. Now explain to the novice how these young ladies that you recruited translate to your cross country program.
Okay, well, cross country, I have Nia Singleton. She's from Florida, and she's pretty good. She was a quarter miler in high school. She ran a 4 and an 8. She's gonna move up and become a full-time middle distance runner, so she'll definitely help Madison, who was our only true cross country runner we had here. She's gonna help Madison. I have Jasmine coming back. She was slowed last year with some injury, so Jasmine Young is from Blythewood. She was slowed, but she's getting back on the cross country trail, and I have two other young ladies that was here that's going to help out with those group of women.
Okay, explain to us again a little bit more in depth about cross country for the novice. All they know is that, man, cross country mean you run a long, long way and try not to get tired. Coach, tell us some more about what that cross country training and running is like.
Cross country training is it's a little different. It's putting a lot of miles in, and I know sometimes it's tedious, but you have to run. In our conference, we run 3.1 miles, which is a 5K. So you have to build your endurance for that. So for us, just training and working out, doing some intervals and doing some distance running around that can help us build our endurance.
Okay, but coach, that's not running. That's not running 12 laps around the track. What
No,
are they?
no, no, no. We different cross country courses. They're all different. some cross country courses are held on a golf course. Some are held on in trails, in the woods. But it's really you're running through the woods for 3.1 miles for the women, and for the men is an 8K, which is 5 miles. So the trail is different. You out in the trail, this might be some rocks, some mud, some woods. Different trail you entail going through the cross country course. So it's not the same as a track. The track surface is nice and smooth and laid out. You can just run around in circles. But cross country, it take you up some hills, down some valleys, through some streams. It's a little different.
How do you approach that mentally in preparing your athletes for that?
It's tough. It's tough, especially for the young ladies who they're not used to running that distance when you run in middle distance. So coming to college, you have to step up and you have to be willing to do it. Your will have to be strong, right? Because it's going to be raining sometimes. It's going to be cold sometimes. It's going to be you got to go through all the nature, all of nature to get to your destination.
So you actually train regardless of the weather conditions. You train them and let them run in it.
Yes. We can't let that be a hindrance for what we're trying to accomplish. So it might be raining sometimes, and we lace up and go out there and do what we have to do.
Okay, your answer is always short and concise. I keep trying to. I remember last year I had to pull answers from you. Coach, as you get them training cross country and you have them running, do you have those that run cross country and mentally it takes a little bit of adjustment for them to decide that they can really do that? It just seems like something that would be difficult for somebody if they're not mentally strong.
Yeah, you have to have that will and you have to have that want to. If you don't have that want to, then it's not going to be for you, because you have to want to do it. And it's something that no matter how much someone outside force you to, if you don't make up your mind and have that want to, then you won't be successful at doing it. Because it's a little different, and I understand. And for me, it's just getting the person to understand, or getting one of those student athletes on board with what the cause is, right? And sometimes the cause is bigger than us. So for me, it's just convincing them what the cause is and have them buy into it.
That's a great answer, Coach. As you talk to them, give us a story of somebody you talked to that you really had to talk them into doing it, and then they ended up doing really good.
Well, for a lot of what we do, cross country provide that base, right? So let's take, for example, Zion Murray, right? He's one of our better middle distance guy, and at first he didn't buy into what cross country can do for him, because he's coming from a sprint background. You're talking about a guy who ran the 100 and 2 and the 400 in high school, and then asked him to convert to running middle distance. So for him, it works out for him, because he ended up running 150 last year, ended up being part of our All-American 4x4. So he's bought into it because he see the progress, and for him, I had to sit down and talk to him about what cross country can do for him, what the distance, how the distance can help him be a better middle distance runner. And and he had a lot of success last year. He ran 150, and that was a big time PR for him.
What is it you see in somebody that lets you know you can transition them from being a sprinter to being a middle distance runner?
Actually, his transition started with the previous coach, and I just was able to come and add to that. But he wanted to go back down to running sprints, and like I told him, he sustained a lot of injury trying to sprint with those guys, and for him, he saw that it was a little better because of his running mechanics and his technique and all that stuff. A lot of people think that sprinting is easy, right? But it beats your body up, and he got a chance to understand it last year, because he got injured trying to sprint with those guys. So then, after that, he understood what I was trying to show him and what I was trying to teach him. And from that point, his transition really started mentally anyway. And because physically he was being transitioned, he just wasn't doing it as effective as he was doing it once he started buying into the distance and buying into what the extra distance can do for him.
Okay, so him trying to go back and run sprints put a lot of stress, especially in his lower joints, to be able to condition like that and work like that for that sprint action.
Oh yeah, and for me, he was one of the key guys in our 4x4 making it to nationals. So when he got hurt for a long time, we couldn't put it together, and he saw that. He saw that a healthy Zion is better than a Zion that's parked up on the track watching everybody else. So he understood the benefit of it, and he bought into it, and he ran well at the end of the season.
Okay, we'll go back to the women a little bit, Coach. Who do you have that you brought in that you're really excited about? We'll get to the veterans in a minute, but tell us who you brought in new that you're looking for to make that maturation jump to be a major contributor for you in cross country.
Like I told Coach O'Neill, I'm excited about Nia Singleton. She's from Florida, and she's gonna make that jump from running 400 to running the 800. I think I'm excited for her because I think she can be very, very special. I think Morgan can be very special. She's a great athlete. She won 2 state championship last year, and she finished in the top 5 in the triple jump. Even though in the triple jump she was the #1 athlete in the state. So I look forward to those two being the core leader of this of the women's group.
Okay, Nia is from what part of Florida?
You know what? Don't ask me. I forgot the name of the city. But she's from somewhere in Central Florida. I forgot the name of the city. He told me a couple of times.
Okay. Well, we wish you a lot of luck with your freshman and transfer. Who do you have returning that you're kind of looking to be your bell cow on that women's cross country team?
Well, I moved Jonica up last year. At the end of the season, she started doing 400 hurdles. That's something that she never did before, and she finished in the finals in the conference. And you're talking about someone who has never hurdled before. And 3 weeks out, she said she came to me and said, "Coach, look, can I try hurdling?" So she transitioned from the 400 to 400 hurdles. So I move her up, and I'm gonna assist her with that. So I think she should be one of the girls that make it back to the finals this year. Maddie and our long distance girl last year was Maddie, so she should be better. She had a nice couple of PRs last year, so I'm looking for her to be better than she was last year. So right now, on the returners, those two, and then of course I have 2 really, really good jumper in what's her name? I'm losing my thought, but Marlena McBride and Janiyah Knuckles, those 2 girls, they long jump, triple jump, and Marlena McBride does the high jump. I'm looking forward to Zaire. She was a big time scorer in the javelin last year, and I brought in a freshman that's definitely going to rival her for that javelin spot. So they should be a great assistance to the girls that I brought in.
Oh, that's great. Allow you some points in some of those field events, huh?
Right. And it's funny because Cheyenne is a sprinter and a javelin thrower, and that's not traditional.
Yeah, that's the odd combination, isn't it?
Yes, it is. But she can throw the javelin for us in the conference, and I think she'll do a good job. Zaire is also a high jumper that should do a good job. So we have some points, around that we're looking at. We're moving closer to the podium.
Okay, you're excited about being able to improve that finish that you had last year.
Right. We definitely are way ahead of where we were last year. I can tell you that.
Okay, Coach. Speaking of last year, when did you come in last year?
On the men's side, Well, the men's side we won indoors and outdoors.
I mean, when did you become a part of the program? Wasn't it late in the year?
Pardon?
When did you come into the program last year as the coach?
Oh, I'm approaching my 1 year anniversary. It's not, I'm not there yet, but I'm approaching it. So yeah, we got a little, a little late start, but we definitely ahead of where we were last year.
Ah, absolutely. I remember interviewing you, and school had already started when you came on board,
Oh
and
yeah.
all of that. How much better does it feel to you having done almost a year and being here, being able to recruit and know the student athletes as compared to last year when you came in?
I think it's great. Now that the student, I think they understand, culture more so than anything else. I tell them I don't come in with a lot of rules because I feel like rules pin me versus you. But for me, it's just developing a culture, and that's procedures that we have, and they bought into it and they understand the culture. So the new athletes that come in, they able to buy into what we have. They get along well with the students. We had a couple of meetings already, and the veterans was able to share some of the procedures and the expectations with the students because they understand the bigger goal and they understand the big picture. So for me, this year I feel a lot more comfortable and a lot more relaxed because the bulk of the student athletes they understand what it takes and they understand what they have to do. So if they hold themselves responsible, then I don't have to do that. It made my job a lot easier, and we understand each other and they understand me and I understand them.
Oh, that's a good answer, boy. The more we get in depth into these conversations, these better these answers are getting, Coach.
Well, it's the student athlete are the one that run the program. When you come in here and you talk to any one of them, I'm pretty sure you can pull any one of the students that's part of the program here, and they'll share the same thing with you. They'll tell you how it is. They'll tell you what works and what doesn't work. I don't have to do much. So when I bring students on campus, I let them have a conversation with some of the students, and they share the information. So to be honest with you, they're the biggest recruiter now. I just bring the students on campus, but the student athletes, I pull any one of them at any time, and they sit down and talk to the parents, sit down and talk to the students, and the students enjoy it.
Okay, well, Coach, we spent a lot of time going into detail about that women's team, which is what I was hearing about.
Right.
What you have done recruiting wise to upgrade that program. Now, tell us what you did with the men's program coming in. They finished seventh. They were ahead of the women's program last year.
Right.
What have you done to enhance that roster?
I added some good pieces to the puzzle. Now I lost one of my veteran 400 guys, but I brought another guy in that can replace him in Nino. And I thought Nino was one of the better guys in the state of South Carolina, a sprinter. He can run anything from the 100 to the 400, and I thought he was one of the better sprinters in the state of South Carolina. I brought another guy in, a pole vaulter, who's gonna be massive for us. That's an area that we experimented with last year, but I brought a guy in that can definitely pole vault, and Jeremiah Smith. So he's added. I brought a distance runner in, and Grayson Mann, and Grayson is a really he'll be a really good distance runner for us. I added a transfer, Damari Little. He's going to help our distance program, and those two guys going to help cross country. I feel like last year our cross country team was okay, but these two guys should make us a whole lot better. So those are my pieces for the men's side. I didn't need to add too much because I think the veterans here they know what they need to do and they're stepping up.
Okay, but you got two middle distance runners that you got coming in that you seem to have a lot of confidence in those two guys along with what you have returning.
Yeah, if you look at the middle distance, that's the core of our team, right? Um, that's where we dominate the most of the conference. But you take a guy like Ivan last year. You're talking about a guy who ran 219 in high school, and last year ended up running 154. So, so in that retrospect, in that area, I have a lot of confidence in those guys and what they're capable of doing. Zion, he finished second in the conference, but him and the guy that won it was neck and neck, all the way to the line, to the finish line. So he's coming back with a different attitude and a different mentality of winning. But on the men's side, the leadership comes from a guy like Javon Riley, who was an NCAA All-American, right? He finished fifth in the NCs. So when you hear a guy like that, and you have a guy like that who's leading your team on the men's side, then they're going to follow his lead, because not only do he lead on the track, but in the classroom as well. The guy is a two-time NCAA All-American academically, and a two-time NCAA All-American, well, three-time NCAA All-American on the track. The men team and the women team, they were NCAA academic All-American. So our team GPA, that's one thing I stress with the student athlete, that we have to maintain at minimum at 3.0, at minimum. So, we were NCAA All-American, and a lot of people don't know that, and that's information we got to get out there. NCAA All-American on the men and the women track team, academically anyway. So parents know when they send their kids to Claflin, they're gonna graduate, and they're gonna graduate with honors.
Now we know one thing for sure. Claflin stresses academics, and if you're not going to do what you need to do academically, by the time your parents get home, you're liable to beat them home if you don't do what you need to do.
Well, they invested in you, so they got to get a return on investment. So, I stress the ROI with the student athletes, so they understand. We're gonna do some different things. If you don't have a 3.0, we're gonna add we're gonna push that study hall and make sure that you utilize the resources that's on campus. Claflin have a lot of resources for the students, so we want to make sure they're using those resources to get their academic needs completed.
Okay, what are some of the things that you do with your student athletes to ensure that they do what they need to do academically?
We check their grades every 4 weeks. We make sure that we're checking their grades. I work with Mr. Bonaparte. He did a great job last year of making sure that the students, that he stay on top of the students. So he checked those grades every 4 weeks to make sure that we see what progress or struggles that they're having. And if they are having struggles, we make sure we provide them with the service they need, whether it's tutoring, whether it's in-person tutoring, or online tutoring. Wherever we can find the assistance, then we make sure we provide that for the student athlete.
Well, you have cross-country meets getting ready to get started August 30th and September 1st. The men and the women, is that correct? They're not in the same place, but they're like a day apart. How do you manage that, Coach?
Well, no. The meet is on the 30th, August the 30th. It's the men go. I think the women go first at 9, and the men go at 9:45. So it is on the same day. But in the event that we do have two separate days, we just have to make that trip and take the women on one day and then come back and take the men on one day. But I think the meet on the 30th is men and women are on the same day.
Coach, that's 10 days away. You don't have long to get them prepared, do you?
Yeah, we working. One thing I know for sure, we're gonna be ready anytime we step on the line. We always prepared. I make sure we prepare well. So we're gonna go up there, and for the men it's gonna be a 6K. For the women, it's gonna be their normal 5K. The men, of course, they run 8K normally. So we're gonna see where we at. We're gonna use this as a measuring stick. And then come back and see what we need to change about training and how we can get better for the next meet.
Well, I see you don't really back off running against anybody. You put your student athletes against anybody, Coach.
Well, that's what it's about. It's about competition, right? I'm used to competing at the highest level. So, when we train, I tell the students we train and we prepared for whoever line up next to us. It doesn't matter. If they line up next to us, we prepare to run. And we're going to be at our best. When we step on the line, we're going to be at our best.
Okay, Coach. Well, you actually sound excited about your cross country program this year.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see what Grayson is going to do. I think he's going to elevate that part of the program that I think he's excited about running. So we'll see what he'll do. And then Damari, he's going to provide help. Actually, he transferred from Bethune. We were supposed to get him last year, but some things happened. We didn't quite get him. So he's a year out. So he'll be back in the scope of things once we get on that trail and start whipping him back into shape.
Okay. Well, Coach, we look forward to how this is going to unravel for you. I know your athletic director says he wants to be in the hunt. That's what's important to it.
I don't, Mickey. I don't know what being in a hunt means. I know what being on top means.
Let's say you don't know what being in the hunt means, huh?
No, we want to be on top. That's always our goal. That's always our goal, to get to the top of the podium. And they know that, and they understand the process. And that's the thing about the group of student athletes that I have now. They understand what it takes, and they understand what sacrifice they have to make, right? And it all comes down to us being disciplined in our sacrifice. And once we stay disciplined and consistent, then we'll get what we need to get.
And on that, we'll close, because Coach said all he knows is being on top. Coach,
that's right. That's right.
You heard your cross country coach. They plan to be on top. Coach, we appreciate you being on the show and giving us some insight into your program. And I think you got all of us a little bit excited about your team.
All right, thank you. Appreciate what you're doing. Appreciate you getting the word out there, and getting us out there and getting the information out there for some of the folks who don't get a chance. Who's driving by, they might be listening to your show, and they get to hear and understand what is it that we're trying to do here at Claflin University.
Well, thank you, Coach. Tell anybody who's listening, they have a student athlete, or if they are a student athlete that has an interest in Claflin, tell them how they can reach you.
Well, you can log on to Claflin Athletics, and you can complete the questionnaire, or you can call me. My number here is 803-535-5196, and you can leave a message, and I definitely will contact you.
Thank you, everybody. Now you have a way right there to get in touch with the Malcolm Watts. We appreciate you.
Appreciate everything that you're doing.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Thank you.